The little boy is too smart to enter high school at only the age of 9. He knew everything the math teacher teaches. He can also point out the teacher's mistakes, the books he was talking about in English class. Even the teachers have not seen them. The biology teacher saw him put his feet up on the desk. Won't teach him a lesson though, because he gets a perfect score on every test. The algorithms he was working on are ahead of their time. Hundreds of millions of dollars saved for the states to launch rockets. It took 30 years for the United States to realize his vision. Even Musk's rockets rely on his mathematical formulas. In his spare time, the boy helped his father calculate the probability of the game. Thus, Dad's football team never lost again. The boy has never learned the piano, but the music played by the music teacher, he hears it just once and he can play it. The boy is well likening by everyone at school. The pretty girls hug him all the time as if he is a sweet little cat. This boy is a legend. Sheldon has an IQ above 180. First day at school, Sheldon raises his hand and says some of the students violated school rules. The boy's hair is too long. The boy next to him was wearing sportswear. The girl's blouse is too transparent. They should be punished accordingly. The teacher tried to smooth things out and says, "We'll talk to these students after class." Sheldon's not satisfied yet. He raised his hand again and stated that the teacher broke the rules on page 48, second subparagraph of chapter 5. Teachers can't have little beards. This made the whole class burst into laughter. The female teacher is very embarrassed, thinking, "You must be here to mess with me." Sheldon went after all the teachers on the first day of school, stating that the English teacher was illegally wearing a beard. The math teacher has been in class for 5 minutes. Sheldon questioned his credentials, and he said the gym teacher violated health regulations, and that he should be the teacher's leader. Sheldon's parents nearby heard the complaints, and they said the kid is too young, asking the teachers to bear with him, and to help Sheldon in school. The boy is smarter than a DR. There's a PhD from NASA at school to talk about exploring space. Sheldon thought he was going to learn something else, but the doctor did not speak professionally. Instead, he tells people how to go to the bathroom in space. The DR says, each trip to space costs hundreds of millions of dollars. A rocket can only be used once and then it's useless. Sheldon raises his hand right immediately. If you want to save money, why not recycle the rocket? The DR paid no attention, takes it as a joke, and gave him a NASA sticker, because he is treating Sheldon as a kid. Sheldon looked at the sticker. He knew the DR was underestimating him, so he thought he had to go through his own calculations and make the doctor apologize for his arrogance. At dinner, Sheldon hasn't eaten a bite. He keeps thinking, the optimum height to width ratio for recyclable rockets. Sheldon was up late reading. Dad asked him what he was doing. "I'm doing hyperbolic calculations for rocket recovery landing." Dad told him to turn off the light and go to bed, but after Dad leaves, the light in the room was turned on again. The boy is a genius. He's working on rocket recovery. Musk is waiting for his results. Sheldon said, "I want to buy a large computer to calculate the Navier-Stokes equation, to study the rocket recovery process. At least $3 million. Who would have that kind of money?" Meemaw gave him $9 and sent him away. Sheldon doesn't give up. He contacted the National Bank on his own and says, "We're mortgaging our house." Holy shit, thank God Mom stopped him in time. Otherwise, they're gonna be living on the streets. Sheldon had to use the school computer to do the calculations, and he pretends to be sick, uses the doctor's computer to calculate. He finally figured it out one night. He wrote it in a notebook and sent it to NASA, but he never received a reply. Sheldon's been in over his head all day. Dad couldn't stand it. Take the family straight to NASA. A 9-year-old boy is teaching a DR. The doctor had a shocked expression on his face. Sheldon uses a whole blackboard, presenting his algorithm, including our mathematics, physics, nature and so on. Even professional PhDs are blown away. Can't believe a 9-year-old kid came up with such a powerful way to do calculations. Even the doctor's like, wow, we don't have the technology now to support Sheldon's algorithm. Until 30 years later, Musk just implemented Sheldon's algorithm, and the notes he was flipping through were written by Sheldon back then. He passed by the music room, saw the music teacher playing the cello, listening to the beautiful melody. After simple thought, he sat in front of the piano and played out the sonata just played by the teacher. The teacher was surprised, and when Sheldon played for the first time, the teacher was completely shocked. He has absolute pitch, which only 1 in 100,000 humans have. The boy has an IQ above 180. He developed the rocket recovery technology, but his emotional intelligence is surprisingly low. None of the students wanted to hang with him. Even his older brother in the same school ignored him at lunch. His parents saw him sitting alone, feel sorry for him. But Sheldon, on the other hand, enjoys his own time. Just like now, he's thinking about when humans get close to black holes, the effects of gravity. To keep Mom from worrying, Sheldon decided to learn how to make friends. He came to the library. The administrator recommended a book to him. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Sheldon reads it carefully. He quickly applies the principles in the book to his life. He says his father's name twice for every sentence he speaks. But Dad didn't seem to notice. Defeat is not in Sheldon's vocabulary. Even in the bathroom, he didn't give up. There are 2 smokers in the bathroom. Sheldon said, "Although I hate the smell of smoke, but I admire your courage in breaking school rules." Those 2 heard this quickly drop the cigarette and run. The boy is a genius but has no friends. He reads books in the library about how to make friends. His sister showed him the library card for the book. "I'm sure it's filled with people looking for a friend. Why don't you just go to them?" Sheldon is suddenly enlightened. The next day, he went through the list one by one. The first person turned out to be the math teacher. She's not looking for a friend, but a handsome boyfriend. The second person is the English teacher. She only borrowed the book to bond with the school principal. In order to get a higher position, Sheldon sharply pointed out, "If you want to still be alive until then, you should put down that chili cheeseburger right now." This made the teacher very angry. "I can't even be principal anymore. Who are you to tell me what to do?" It seems that the book is of no use. Right when Sheldon returned the book, he met a little boy. The boy doesn't have any friends either. The book he was holding about rockets intrigued Sheldon. After a brief conversation, Sheldon makes his first friend in life, Dan. Sheldon's been doing his family's taxes since he was 6, and never made a mistake. Today, the family gets together to watch a football game. At the 4th attack, Sheldon's father, a football coach, said, "This game has to be a punt." But Sheldon said, "Judging from the data, 4th down kick is not justified." And he puts up the stats from the University of Texas football game. "If we are to punt, the opposing team has a 92% chance of scoring. If we keep attacking, we have a 50% chance. We're gonna get 4 more shots." Dad looked disdainful. "I've been a coach for over 20 years, and I never heard of a probability like that. You didn't calculate right." Sheldon thought for a moment. Still sticks to his own algorithm. The next day Dad led the team to a football game. It's time for the 4th attack. Assistant wants to punt. Dad called out to him, "Keep the boys on the attack." The assistant doesn't understand, but the father chose to believe his son. Sure enough, the players scored and won the game. The next few weeks, Sheldon continued to help Dad calculate the numbers. Using big data principles, all the matches were won. Sheldon also became the object of the whole school's gratitude. The boy is so happy. Pretty girls at school always hug Sheldon tightly. Sheldon almost suffocated. Sheldon worked hard on rocket recovery. Finally made a big difference. Even Musk has to read his notes. Sheldon goes to church with his mother. The pastor spoke about the existence of God. It's just a math problem. There are only 2 scenarios. It either exists or it doesn't. It's a 50% chance. Sheldon, in front of everyone, raises his hand and says the priest is wrong. He walks up on stage, says the reverend got the odds wrong. "I could go home today with $1 million, or not. So, do I have a 50% chance of owning $1 million? This is a lie." The priest was forced to smile. Sheldon's always thinking deep questions no matter what he does. The boy choked when eating a sausage. He can't breathe. Dad keeps patting him on the back. Still not better. While the whole family is panicking, all Sheldon could think about was, is the carpet at home made of plastic? What material is it? Dad did the Heimlich maneuver. Then Sheldon spit out the stuck sausage. This made Sheldon late for the first time. He wrote a letter of explanation. Said he had a medical accident. Since then, Sheldon has had a problem with solid food. Mother had to squeeze the food into juice and let Sheldon drink it. One day he saw Dan chewing gum. Sheldon imagines himself as a superhero, and superheroes can't have weaknesses. Sheldon put the gum in his mouth. Imagine himself as the chewman. He finally overcame his fear of choking. The principal thinks Sheldon has a lot of talent. He decided that high school wasn't for him anymore. Recommend him to go to college. In college, Sheldon meets a talented young girl named Peggy. Peggy is even better than Sheldon. What will happen to them? We'll wait and see. This clip is finished. This show is called Young Sheldon. Question for today: do you think Sheldon's smart? Share your views in the comments section. I recommend you guys to see the original show. Well, that's all for this episode. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.